Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Please like, share and subscribe and turn on the notifications bell. And let's go for these weeklies energy reading. I hope you guys liked the previous video because it was slightly different than the usual. And this week's big event, and I'm only gonna talk about it, is Pluto moving into Aquarius finally. My dear old Pluto. Because this is a major event, guys, and there are lots of things that we should be aware of that I don't think a lot of people are gonna talk about it. Pluto, let me get the ephemeris here, my dear old ephemeris book. Pluto, we kind of had a little taste of Pluto going to Aquarian energy on March, I think it was March 2023, around 23rd, 24th of March, yeah, something like that. And it left Aquarius on June 11th, 2023. Because then it went to Capricorn. And then on January 2024, it got, I think it was on the 22nd, yeah. 22nd of January 2024, it got back into Aquarius. And then we kind of felt this Aquarian energy stronger. And it stayed a little longer in Aquarius. And on September 2nd, it went back to Capricorn to give its final breath into Capricorn energy. So we could finally say goodbye to Pluto in Capricorn, which had everything to do with saying goodbye to old paradigms, old societal structures that weren't working anymore, like this whole patriarchal on the clock schedule, again, this whole organizational way of living that quite frankly doesn't work for us anymore as humans. That is, it became unsustainable, and Pluto has been deconstructing it over the past 16 years in a collective scale and in an individual scale. So since from September 2nd until November 19th, which is coming soon, this is like the final details that we're supposed to take care of in our lives to finally say goodbye to Pluto in Capricorn. And then in this lifetime, we're not going to have Pluto in Capricorn anymore. Pluto is going to go straight ahead to Aquarius, then Pisces, then Aries, and blah blah blah. But and then it's going to shift to Aquarius, and it's going to be on Aquarius for the next 20 years. Almost 20 years, like 19 and a half, but I say 20 years just to round about. Round it all about. I'm just speaking so fast. And it is important for us to, and this is going to be very important. I feel like I said in the previous video, we got to a point in our lives that there is no turning back, especially on the 15th with the full moon in Taurus that was conjunct with Uranus in Taurus. We kind of had this enlightenment, this conscious enlightenment, because Uranus is all about being conscious of things, and that some things cannot, we became conscious of our of the values that we want to embody from now on. And we became conscious that the values that we used to have in the past don't work for us anymore. And the way we used to live don't work for us anymore. Venus, which is the ruler of Taurus, where the moon and Uranus were together during the full moon, was in Capricorn. It still is in Capricorn, but it was during the full moon. And Venus in Capricorn is all about working towards our values. Venus in Capricorn is not happy when it has to do things that are not aligned to our own growth. When it has to work on things that are not aligned to our values. It's very determined to work towards our goals and towards our towards our goals, as long as they are aligned to our values. And the ruler of Capricorn, which is Saturn, is in Pisces, still in Pisces. So it is related to our spiritual growth and all of this, and not just that. Saturn in Pisces is all that energy that I've been talking about for ages, of letting go of things that don't work for you anymore and for your personal growth and spiritual journey and blah 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 blah. So there's this whole cosmic conversation between all these guys happening during the full moon that got us to this turning point. Again, that there's no turning back from it. It's like turning a corner. That literally was telling us that to reevaluate our values, not just reevaluate, because this is what we've been doing. It's like, just take a look at the values that you have now. This Uranus in Taurus conjunct for Uranus and the full moon conjunct in Taurus for me is all about this. You see the values that you created. These are new values. Because you deconstructed a lot of things. You're a new person. You're not the person you used to be 10, 5, 2 years ago. You're a completely different person. So your life should be a completely different life as well. You have to be aware that, again, you have to embody these values from now on. You have to align your physical life with your spiritual life, this Saturn in Pisces, from now on. These two need to be aligned. From now on. And Pluto in Capricorn was saying the last goodbyes for the structures that didn't allow you to do that were holding you back. And it's like, that's why Pluto in Capricorn was still lingering there 4 days after the full moon, because it's like, you have 4 days. You have the clarity about all these values and the things that you have to do, and now you have 4 days still to do some work and let go, to see things that you have to let go and still work on them, because after that Pluto moves into Aquarius, and then it's going to be 20 years in Aquarius. And Aquarius is all about being conscient of Aquarius is about higher conscience and spiritual higher conscience, but not like Pisces. Pisces is about this higher conscience and spiritual higher conscience, but in the spiritual level, in an emotional level. Aquarius is in a more mental way, in a more logical way, a pragmatical way, in the realm of the ideas. So it's like my ideals, they have to be aligned with my actions. Aquarius is like that. And not just that, I always say this is the reason why Aquarius, oh my god, just stay there. because I keep bumping on this even in my Brazilian videos. That's why the symbol of Aquarius is like two waves, one on top of each other. It's all about resonance, and that is why this channel is called Universal Resonance, because this is the energy we're going towards in this new era. It's all about resonance. The waves, they need to be aligned with one another. It's like my ideals need to be aligned with my actions, and my ideals need to be aligned with your ideals. My actions need to be aligned with your actions. Aquarius is a very complex sign, because it is about the collective, yes, but one thing that people forget is that the collective is formed by a sum of individuals. So in the heart of the collective lies individuals. So the work starts in individual level. And it is very beautiful when individuals are aligned, are in sync. But that's the bad thing about Aquarius. When the individual energy is unaligned with the collective, there's disruption. Again, when the waves are not in sync, there is dissonance, there is noise. And that is why a lot of people lately, ever since Pluto got into Aquarius on March 2023, already started feeling like, I don't want to be around certain people anymore. I don't want to be around certain groups anymore. I don't have patience for this type of conversations anymore. It's like the cancel culture started being strong. Actually, it kind of started there. So when individual and collective don't align, we have conflict. And the thing about Aquarius is that collective is not one big bubble as well. Collective is a bunch of little bubbles. Tangent to one another, intercepting one another. So what we're gonna have to realize during this new Aquarius time is that ideas and concepts that well, not just that, let me just go way back. Pluto is all about our commitment to our evolution, no matter what. Pluto wants us to keep growing, and again, to be coherent with our own personal transformation, and to be aware that transformation is an eternal process. And in order for that to happen, Pluto is not afraid of bringing up to the surface what is ugly and what doesn't work in order for this transformation to happen, in order for us to be aware of what is keeping us stuck, preventing us from evolving. That is why Pluto is related to this death and rebirth idea, the Phoenix idea, and it has this thing about shadows and traumas and this destruction, because it's again, it's like, you know, all these things that you repressed and suppressed in order to keep living. Yeah, this is not going to work anymore, because you're not supposed to just keep living. You need to level up, and to be yourself, and again, to evolve and evolve and evolve and evolve. And in order to do that, we have to dig layers and layers and layers that have been buried underneath rubble. So I'm gonna bring up all the rubble, whether you like it or not. And we're gonna have to clean it and clean and clean and clean and clean, whether you like it or not. And that is for your own good. Because again, your commitment is with your own self and your own truth as a soul. That is why when I talk about purpose in all of my videos, in all of my sessions and therapy sessions with people, I insist on telling people, because some people want to book sessions and they're like, oh, what is my purpose? And a lot of people say, oh, your purpose is to be a doctor, is to be a mother. I'm like, if people are telling you this, they're lying. They just want to take your money, or they're taking, even if it's for free, they're lying and they want to take advantage of you. There's no way someone can tell you what is your purpose in life by looking at a birth chart, by looking at cards or anything. Not in this way. There is a way, but in the way I interpret things. I'm not saying I'm the owner of the truth, but I'm gonna get there. The thing is, people associate purpose with what should I do, with an activity. And I see purpose a lot as the way I interpret life and the way I approach therapy is a lot like Carl Jung, the analytical therapist. Purpose has to do with, purpose is not something that is universal. That is why a lot of people, when they join cults and groups and study groups and I don't know, they take courses and meditations and they're like, oh, find out your purpose and your purpose and your purpose. Again, this is all lies. Because they take philosophy classes just to find out that I thought this was turned off. I'm sorry. What's the purpose of life? And the purpose of purpose is not, the purpose of life is not a universal concept. That is why I say no one can tell you by looking at your birth chart or cards or anything, unless they are doing it like I do. Because purpose is individual. It's specific to every human being, and it has to do with the power of your shadow. And what do I mean by that is, in your shadows, when I say shadows, it's not like the bad part of you. Shadow is literally your subconscious mind. Is what is hidden from you. It's literally what's in the shadow, what you cannot see. What's in light is what you can see. It's what's conscient. What is in shadow is what you cannot access. It's what is subconscious. Yes, what lies in there are things and traits that you don't like, but are also things that are considered bad. And I don't like to use the good or bad labels on things, because this is judging, and judgment is something that people do to gaslight others, and society does to put people in boxes anyway. But shadow, in your shadow, there are traits and aspects that you don't like, but also there lies things that are your hidden talents. I say that are little nuggets that are hidden in there that you have to, that's why you have to be aware of your shadow. You have to shed light in there to find these glowing little nuggets as well. You have to be aware of the things you don't like in order to control them, so they don't control you. That doesn't mean you have to identify yourself with that. You just have to be aware that you have that, again. So you don't become that all the time. You integrate that as part of your personality to use it in your favor, but you don't have to identify with that. And you also find little nuggets of talents that you had to hide there somehow. And for some reason, let's say that you are someone that came from, you are a very artistic person. You always had this very artistic, you were always very sensitive, always very artistic, and always liked to paint. But in your family, you came from a family that everyone was very logical, everyone was a doctor or a mathematician or a scientist, and they were like, no. This drawing and painting, this is for slackers. This is for slackers. It's people that don't make money, people who just want to have fun. So we don't like that. We don't accept that. So you learn to hide this talent in your subconscious, in your shadows. So if you do shadow work, you actually bring that out of you, that talent. You find out that talent out of you. You find out that you had that talent inside of you. That's what I meant. My English is so bad lately. So it's not just about bad characteristics, it's also about accepting talents that were hidden there. So again, maybe you're a great singer and you like to sing, but you come from a family that doesn't allow people to express themselves. It's like you always have to be quiet. So you learn like to be quiet so you cannot sing. And then people are like, oh my god, you have a great voice, why have you never sing before? And you're like, oh, because in my family people just don't like hearing my voice, so I just learned to be quiet. And then you bring it all out. But also the things that you don't like and you don't want to identify with, you have to be aware of them. Let's say, because you have to be aware of them to use them in your favor. That is why you need to integrate them. Again, it's not a bad thing. Nothing is bad. Carl Jung actually used to say that I don't want to be a good man, I want to be a complete man. There's a whole difference there. So if you have anger and you are aware that you are angry, that this is a part of you, that you have this characteristic, if you bottle it up and you suppress anger, eventually you actually give it strength to anger, and eventually you're gonna explode and you're gonna have this anger attack, and it's gonna be a mess. But if you are aware of this anger that you have, you're actually gonna use it in your favor. You can use this anger as an aggressiveness, as a tool to defend yourself when people are being unfair towards you, or you can channel it as a drive to conquer something when you really want something. Like for example, I tell people one of my shadows is laziness, and I'm not afraid to admit it. I used to be, because people don't like lazy people. They're like, oh, you're lazy, you're just lazy. But if you suppress your laziness, which has happened to me in the past, because people judge you, people don't like lazy people, you get burned out, because you're like, I cannot be lazy. So what happens is that eventually laziness wins, because you keep suppressing it, and you get burned out. And then laziness just literally burns you out and you are forced to be in a coma. It's like, oh really, you don't want to be lazy, you don't want to recognize me? Then I'm gonna show you what I am. And then you just stay in bed for a whole week because you're like, oh, I don't have energy for anything. And you're constantly doing that. Because laziness, if you know how to channel it, it actually prevents you from burning out. It actually shows you that you deserve some rest and gives you and allows you to have the deserved rest that your body needs. If you know how to use it. It shows how your body works, the rhythm that you can work with. And when I say I'm lazy, is that I have to recognize that me, Luciana, I am someone, I even joke that I have Mars in Taurus. So I am someone, people who has Mars in Taurus, and not just that, I have that in the 6th house opposite to Pluto, which is this whole astrological configuration. I'm not going to go into that, but people who has Mars in Taurus, they have a slower rhythm of life. They have it's a detrimental position in astrology. So they need to approach life with a slower rhythm. They need to. They cannot be all go, 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 because it's just like a bull. Can you imagine a bull, a Taurus? It's like a cow. They're very slow. They keep munching in the grass all the time. They have to be chill. If you push too much on them, it's like a bull on a what is the name of that thing where you have the red cape and you keep taunting the bull? Oh, I forgot. Bullfight, something like that. Yeah. Eventually the bull is gonna go insane, and it only stops when it's dead. That is the burnout. It's like, okay, I'm gonna go until the end. And that's what happens with people who has Mars in Taurus. They exhaust themselves if they don't respect their laziness. It's like, no, you have to understand that you have to have a calmer rhythm of life. Great, if people can do 10 things in one day, you can only do 5. I'm sorry, this is your physical configuration. And you have to respect that. Otherwise, you're going to burn yourself out. If society cannot accept that, too bad for society. You compensate with other things. You have great talent. People need to see that. But you have to be aware of that. That you have a different rhythm. And as long as I didn't respect that, until I didn't respect that about myself and realize that, I would still have burnouts all the time and constantly, until I was like, okay, I really need to make sure that I really need to accept and implement in my life my laziness. I really need to accept that I have a different rhythm, that I don't work like normal people. Because what is normal? Normal is you. What people try to transpass as normal is not normal. This is Aquarius. This is Pluto in Aquarius. Is accepting that everyone is different. And finding where you fit, your niche. The same thing like anxiety. If you are someone who has zero patience, this is my shadow, Luciana. I have zero patience. I'm very anxious. Great. What are you saying? This is good? Yeah. Because when you are impatient and anxious, if you don't know how to deal with that and you don't accept that, this is going to bottle up and eventually this is going to paralyze you. Or it's going to make you paranoid. But if you know how to channel it, this is actually going to move you towards your goal. Because you cannot wait. It's going to make you an innovative person. It's like, yeah, I don't want to wait for the ordinary things. I'm going to go after it. So again, it's knowing how to work with the power of your shadow. And that's what makes your path and your purpose unique. That's why purpose is a unique experience. Because it's not about it's not about the end of the journey. It's about the journey itself. I know this sounds cliche, but it's how you, the purpose of life, it's not related to what you achieve. It's about who you are and how you act. And literally what you do, not what you say you do or what you're gonna do. And that has, it's like literally walk your talk. That has a lot to do with the age of Aquarius. Because doing what you, being coherent with what you do and what you say, this is what brings self-realization. That has a lot to do with Pluto in Aquarius. That is why a lot of people are gonna sense this this need of not having to be with certain groups and certain people, because you're gonna sense this distance between what I think and what they think, what I do and what they do. This inconsistency is gonna be an issue. And not just that, like I was saying, Pluto brings out things that don't work, so in order for us to fix what is not working. But Aquarius, again, is all about individual but the collective and respecting differences. So Pluto in Aquarius is this conscience of what works for me and what has to be worked on me is different than what works for you and what has to be worked on you. So these issues that are going to be brought up, for example, for people in the United States, this conscience of what needs to change for women in United States is different from what needs to change for women in Africa. It's different for what needs to change for women in Bangladesh. So this whole idea of trying to bring everyone under one umbrella, it's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. And people trying to force that down other people's minds and other people's throats, it's gonna sound like tyranny. And people are not gonna accept that. And because again, each situation will require a different adjustment, and it's gonna require respect, because Aquarius is this this awareness that everyone is at a different point and has a different awareness, a different type of awakening. So it is about tolerance, and this is going to be very difficult because there's going to be this need for. That's why I keep telling people about working on their core, being sure of who they are, being aware of who they are, again, being coherent with who they are, having this sense of self-realization on earth, because this is what's going to keep them whole. Because there's going to be this attempt to manipulate people under this one umbrella kind of thing, especially with the media. We're already seeing that people try to bring concepts that apply to one society to other societies, and trying to make people mad about some issues that have nothing to do with their own lives. And it's like an issue that it regards one specific niche of the society, and trying to incinerate everyone with this, like, oh, this isn't. inconceivable, and it's like, yeah, but it's their problem, it's not my problem, I have nothing to do with that. I feel sorry for them because I have empathy, but again, this is not my fight. I'm not in that resonance. We should not be manipulated like that, because a lot of people, we're gonna have to be, there's gonna have to be this need to of digital literacy, because people who own the media, they're gonna try to manipulate information, because Aquarius is all about, as well, innovations, technology, and we're gonna have to be very careful about these things. I'm gonna get there, because I was talking about purpose. There are some things that I need to get clear about purpose, just to wrap it up, because I'm being very insistent with this shadow work, and we being strong in our core in order not to be manipulated. Again, it's like this wave, Aquarius wave. We don't want to be pulled on other people's waves. We need to be strong in our own essence, in our own vibration, to only resonate with what really resonates with our core. Jung used to say, I have notes here that from a notebook, that I take notes from quotes that I read, very important quotes that I read throughout life. And I remembered Carl Jung throughout this whole Pluto thing, because again, I like working with shadow aspects to bring into light, and Jung is all about that. I have a very Jungian perspective about the psyche, and because Pluto always works with that, I thought this was very pertinent. Is that even a word? I think it is. It had a lot to do with the theme today, but I took the notes were in Portuguese, so I'm gonna try to translate a little bit. This is from the book The Secret of the Golden Flower. I think that's that in English. So the first sentence about purpose that he writes is, the only purpose in human existence is to turn on a light up a light of significance in the darkness of the mere being. And what that means for me is, again, it's all about the journey, not the end. It's alchemization. It's trying to find light in the darkness, meaning in the things that are happening. And not just that, Jung was all about this whole thing about that I say about self-actualization, self-actualization on Earth. It's all about you being proactive. I'm sorry. A lot of people are depressed and all of that because they are not coherent with what they do and what they say. So they're very passive because they don't want to take action. They just want life to happen for them. And that is because they're afraid of taking action and having to deal with the consequences. And actually another sentence, another quote from Jung, from a book called Memories, Dreams and Reflections, I believe it's from that book, is where your fear is, there lies your task, your work, something like that. I don't have that quote noted here, but it's something like that. So people are afraid of taking the hard work because they're always driven by fear. But without action, without being this co-creative person, there is no self-actualization. So most people live in a passive way on Earth. So people, for example, let's say you want to be a writer, a famous writer, or a famous musician, and you're like, oh, but I only write songs when I'm inspired, and I only play gigs close to my town. And so it's like, you really need to write every single day. You really need to compose when you're not feeling inspired. You really need to put on the effort. You really need to go to other cities. You record little songs, even if they're not yours. Just jingle bells and throw it on Instagram or YouTube during Christmas. Put your face out there. Do some work. Try to get in touch with recording labels. Go to your, I don't know, nearby pizza place and tell the guy, hey, can I play for you guys tonight? Like, just show my work and just so people know who I am, and just take active effort, you know. And most people are like, yeah, but what about, I get no results from that. I've been trying that for 10 years. And maybe you're not getting, and that's the thing about what I say about lighting a light of significance in the darkness of the mere being. Most things in life, if not all of them, is not about the finishing point. Again, it's not about the action, the objective. So yeah, maybe out of 1,000 musicians, only one get to be famous. But and again, for 10 years I've been trying this, but throughout, it's about the journey. I know it sounds cliche, but throughout the whole process, the ups and downs you had to go through to try to become the musician, and even the frustration of not becoming one, I bet that at the end of the process, you became someone else entirely. What significance, what was the meaning behind these transformations? What happened from A to B, from B to C to D? What did you have to go through? Did you become more resilient? Did you become more, did you become wiser? Did you acquire a new skill? It's all about that. Did you learn a new language? Did you meet new people that made you into a different person? A whole universe opened up for you. So it's all about that. And this is self-actualization on Earth. And this is purpose. This is purpose, you know. It's eternal transformation. This is purpose, and trying to find meaning in these transformations. So again, when I say that no one can tell you in a birth chart or tarot reading or anything what your purpose is, that's what I'm talking about. I can tell you, someone else can tell you, if they approach in that way of, hey, this is how you behave This is karmically your challenge, your major challenges, but it's not something specific. Can you see? We don't show something specific. We show a range in which you can float, but the free will is all yours. But people want to control everything out of fear. That's why I stopped giving like these kinds of readings and transit readings on birth charts and solar revolutions and in birth charts, because I don't like that. Because this is people trying to, this is prediction, and I don't like prediction, because prediction is someone trying to find a result so they cannot deviate, and they cannot risk, they cannot give a leap of faith, they can throw the whole responsibility of choice onto something or someone else. Again, they don't want to take the risk. And that is the thing. When you don't take risks in life, it's like as if you had two paths that could happen, two possible paths. But if you don't take a leap of faith eventually, it's almost as if you had like a hidden door, a hidden third door, hiding between these two paths. And taking a leap of faith would open up this third door that is invisible. But if you decide to take a leap of faith, this third magical invisible door opens up, and when you used to have only two options, you start having three. But you need to take this leap of faith because you co-created this third timeline that would never exist and wasn't in your plans, and no one could foresee that, because people who foresee things like in cards and whatever, they see like windows of times, windows of possibilities. And windows are things that already exist. But you are co-creating. You can only co-create a third thing if you decide to co-create it. So no one, no medium can predict this third timeline. This third timeline would never exist if you didn't decide to create it. If you didn't decide to take the risk to create it. If you only decided to take the safe route of going where the tarot reader, the astral reader, whatever, gave you the two options. If you stayed in the safe lane of the two options. Because these were the windows that were opened. These were the only two windows available, so they could only see the two of them energetically. The third one was only possible because of you. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? I hope so. And that is a thing, another thing that Jung used to say in the same book, The Secret of the Golden Flower. Your visions will only become clear when you look at your own heart. When you look outside yourself, you dream. When you look inside yourself, you awake. That is so important. Most people are only looking on the outside, and they keep dreaming. Dreaming of a better life, dreaming with other people's lives, and dreams are illusions. People are delulu. They're delusion. That's why they're easily manipulated. But it is important from now on that we look inside and awake. That is why it's so important to be awakened from now on, and to be in touch with our inner core, and to be strong with our inner core. And now I go back to the whole Pluto thing, because we don't want to be swayed by these waves. A lot of astrologers, they're gonna keep saying that the last time Pluto was in Aquarius was when humans humankind was having the Industrial Revolution. And it was, again, a great revolution. It was great for mankind because we had all these innovations. We developed a lot of techniques and technology, and Aquarius is all about technology, so we're seeing a lot of great things being done. We're seeing a lot of great technological leaps. We are already seeing that in artificial intelligence, and not just that, we are going to see a lot of things in medicine field, in science field, a lot of great discoveries. Even I already saw astrologers saying about like alien contact and all of these things. But people forget that Pluto works with shadow. Mostly in shadow, especially when people are not awakened. Especially in the beginning. Because by the end of things, Pluto, even if you're not awakened, Pluto forces you to awake. But in the beginning, when it's still giving you the chance to awake voluntarily by yourself, it's like shadow, 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 shadow. So mankind, it's gonna be very dissonant with one another. People are gonna be highly intolerant because of all these niches, like I said, there will be a lot of disalignment between individuals and the collective, because a lot of people are going to be unawakened and a few individuals are going to be awakened, and they're like, yeah, I don't want to relate to that. You're already feeling that. A lot of people, they come to me and they're like, again, I can't stand these people anymore. I can't stand this anymore. Am I being too intolerant? Am I being crazy? I'm like, no, you're just simply not aligned to these anymore. But, as I was saying, Pluto first works in shadow. And people often forget that, yes, Industrial Revolution brought a lot of technical advantages. But they forgot that it was thanks to the Industrial Revolution that we have all these climate problems that we have nowadays. It started back then. All the pollution that we have today, it started way back then. All the environment problems, a lot of the social injustices that we have today started back then. Because before that, yes, we had a lot of class differences and all of that, but people was kind of resigned with their place in society because they had a purpose, they had a utility, they felt useful for society. So a person was a baker, or used to make fabric or clothes or blow bottles. So even though they were fairly poor, they were like, yeah, but I have something to do, something to offer, something to sell, so people need my service, so I'm never going to be out of service. I'm never going to be hungry, because people eventually are going to need what I sell. But with Industrial Revolution, it's like machines completely took over these people's jobs. So it's like, yeah, I don't matter to society anymore, so nobody cares about me. I don't have anything to offer anymore, except my work as a slave for the machines. So what happened was people started to work for the factories and for the machines in a very, very demeaning way. People started to be very explored. That already started happening back there. Like bosses overworking their employees. That was being brought up until today. A lot of people are overworked. Until today, and Pluto in Capricorn, we kind of had to go through a lot of Plutos in Capricorn to realize that, and we still have to change a lot, because it hasn't fixed all of this. It has been it has improved a lot, but not completely fixed. But it started happening back then. Women, in order to help their families, had to start leaving their house to work in the factories. So children started being neglected back then. So a lot of the issues that we have today as a society started there. So people forget about this Pluto shadow that started back then and has been dragged until today. And if you think about it, we are already seeing a lot of Pluto shadow happening ever since Pluto went into Aquarius in March 2023. Like I said, cancel culture, intolerance, but not just that. We're seeing a lot of media manipulation, and when I say media, it's not just the big media, it's even social media, it's internet. A lot of people doing weird things, believing it's illiteracy, it's technological illiteracy. We have a lot of technology and people don't know how to use it. So people being scammed, getting viruses, believing in fake information, and even if it's not just fake information, completely dubious and nuts information, because they're like, oh, I saw it online. And yeah, but you forget that online any weirdo can disseminate any weird idea. So we're seeing people from flat earth, believing in flat earth kind of thing, which I know sounds ridiculous, but this is like the extreme. But there are other things that are much more concerning, like people doing things that, again, believing in buying ideologies and buying concepts and buying ideas that are completely intolerant, that are completely discriminative and out of their reality or not, and projecting onto others and believing in I don't know if they have this concept in English. We kind of have it in Portuguese. It's like sofa activists. It's people demanding some kind of rights and being very aggressive about some ideas and concepts and social justice fights that are not even part of their reality, and then don't do anything about it. They just complain and complain and complain in their sofas, on Twitter, with their cell phone. It's ridiculous. And again, they say things. They do things that happen. They say things that are contradictory to what they do, and they don't even realize their hypocrisy. It's like people blaming Big Corp and all of these things while eating at McDonald's. It's like, what are you talking about? Yeah, I'm not gonna even get into detail, but it's like people, it's like they don't own mirrors. And again, fighting fights that have nothing to do with their own reality, and destroying relationships around them, and pointing fingers at people that have nothing to do with that, creating chaos and social destruction around them for issues that have nothing to do with that reality and their reality, the reality where they live in. that do not apply to them anyway. And other things like people doing crazy stuff like recipes and beauty tips and healthy tips from crazy people online. Oh, because I saw that online. It's like, yeah, but don't you have discernment? We're gonna see more and more and more and more about that. Like people going on spiritual cults and create spiritual personas. So yeah, guys, that's why I'm being very adamant about this whole self-realization, being very strong in your core vibration, because this is gonna be accentuated with Pluto in Aquarius. This whole technology thing, science advances. You're gonna see a lot of science going out of control. Human beings playing God. I'm not kidding. It's like, yeah, where's the limit? Don't you have an ethical limit? Oh no, it's innovative. It's innovation. We are already seeing that with artificial intelligence. It's like, guys, you're literally giving your brains and your lives to robots. It's dangerous. And people are actually applauding like little seals on a zoo. It's like, and they're not realizing what they're doing. The other day, a friend of mine sent me a video from robots in China. They're made with artificial intelligence, and they were in a factory, turned off, and one of them suddenly, out of nowhere, turned on, moved from one room to another, woke up the other robots, and started talking in Chinese, but they translated like, "Let's go home. I don't want to stay here anymore." And the other robots woke up and they started following the little robot out of the factory. Well, luckily, it was an innocent thing of robots being rebellious, of wanting to go home because they didn't want to stay in the factory. Can you imagine what these guys could do about, I don't know, food stocks, or God knows, military apparatus, or whatever, guys? I don't know. Humans are just, I'm not kidding. I used to teach piano to children, varying from age 3 to, well, I used to teach adults as well, but the children were from 3 till 19, which are not children anymore, but whatever. It worried me. It really worried me. Some of them didn't even know how to write. Some of them, you used to tell them, oh, just write down, like take notes, something. They would take their cell phone and would just go, hey, Siri, take this as a note. Their handwriting, literally, they couldn't write. They couldn't write down anything. And even if they could, their handwriting was, because I forced them to write down mechanically, their handwriting was hopeless and filled with mistakes. And I'm not saying like little ones, like 12, 13-year-old children that were supposed to know how to write. And some of them, there was this one student that that's because I'm very patient, but I almost lost my patience with her, because I almost had to yell at her, because she was insisting that Siri was a person that really existed. She really believed in it. And I was like, no, sweetheart, it's like this artificial thing. It's an entity. It doesn't exist. No, it truly exists. No, God, what are these children? But even adults, like I know adults these days that are older than me. They come from a generation before mine. They cannot read hours in watches anymore that have like pointers. They can only read like digital watches. I was like, what the hell? What is happening? So yeah, this is for real, guys. This is for real. And we're gonna have to be really careful. Really, really careful. And Pluto in Aquarius is almost like we're gonna have especially in the beginning, this a lot of separation. It's like I cannot find myself, especially the ones that are awakened already. I cannot find, like I said, Aquarius is this very complex sign. If the collective is resonating with the individual, it's beautiful. But if it's not, if you have this dissonance, there's this need for separation, and the individual needs to find something that resonates with it. And there's this little fight between the two of them. And Aquarius is ruled by Saturn, but mostly Uranus. And Uranus is a little rebel when it's in shadow. It's like, yeah, I don't accept that, and I don't want that, and I'm gonna break with that. So there's gonna be this pull and push and pull for almost 20 years. We're gonna have to be very tolerant and very patient. Regarding the realm of ideologies, because Aquarius is all about that. And we're gonna be rethinking where we fit and what we want to resonate with, and if our actions and words are fitting with the actions and words of certain things and groups, especially where you have Aquarius in your birth chart. That's where it's going to be most affected. If it is the first house, it's in oh gosh, I didn't want to do that, otherwise it's going to be very long, but apparently I did it in the Portuguese video and they're telling me to do this on the English video as well. If it is in the first house, it's the house of identity. And it's not like, it's literally how you present yourself in the world, but not just present in a physical way, but how you act on things. It's how all your initiatives in life, they all happen with the first house energy. So it's again how you do things on this world, how your energy is presented, how you show up in the world. It's going to be transformed. And again, if you have intercepted houses or intercepted signs, probably it's going to take a big chunk, but usually we have a sign in a piece on a house and another piece on another house. So it's probably going to see where you have Aquarius. If it has, I don't know, if it's a little bit on the first house and a little bit on the second house, just think like, and it depends on the angles, and so how many years it depends on Pluto's transit, but just think like, oh, for a part it's gonna happen with this characteristics because of this house, and for another part it's gonna have this characteristics. For the rest of it, it's gonna be with the characteristics of this other house. Just think like that. If it becomes too complex to understand, like I said, just send me a comment and ask for help, and I'll gladly do it, or send me a WhatsApp or an email, because I don't know if I have an email in the beginning of the video. I don't know, or Instagram or whatever. I put everything in the beginning of the video. Just try to get in touch with me. If it is too hard, just write a comment and I'll gladly help you. But yeah, the first house will be that. The second house is about, people are like, oh, the house of money. No, it's not money. It's how you align your values with your material reality. So it's how you want to build your life based on your values. This is going to be transformed. So you're going to be questioning how you do that. So let's say you are someone who always had a job. It's like, oh, I don't know, I became a doctor because my family wanted me to be a doctor, and I make a lot of money with it. Cool, but it's not mine. It's not like, it doesn't have a lot to do with my values, because I really don't like it. I don't believe in it or anything. Or maybe, I don't know, I'm a banker and I only got this job just to make some money, but I really don't believe in this cause anymore. I don't, especially because it's Aquarius. It's like I don't feel like I'm contributing a lot to society with this. Again, you're reviewing your values and how this applies in building your future, in building your material life. So you're going to be questioning and transforming all of that. Third house, it's about interactions and communication. So the way you interact with people in groups, and not just groups, but people. It's literally interaction, it's conversation, it's communication, how you communicate, how you express yourself, how you interact. Even like, it's about exchanging, how you, because it has to do with studies as well. What do you want to study? It's about exchanging information, how you exchange information with other people, ideas, and this is going to be transformed. And also, third house, I always say that it kind of has a relationship with brothers and sisters as well. So maybe your relationship with your, if you have brothers and sisters, maybe that's going to be transformed as well, reviewed. Fourth house is the house of self. So is your relationship with yourself, is how you see yourself. It's you with your inner self. And literally what fulfills you emotionally, what builds you up emotionally, what makes you feel emotionally safe and nurtured. That's why it's related to family. So your relationship with your family may be transformed. The way you deal with them, maybe your family will go through a transformation, but especially your whole relationship with yourself. A journey of self-love, of self-discovery, of how you treat yourself, how you value yourself, and how you can be of how you see yourself as someone of service to society, all of that, because again, it's Aquarius. So yeah, it's you relating to yourself, and again, what fulfills you emotionally, that is very important. What makes you tick emotionally. Fifth house is the house of self-actualization. Is the inner child self. Is this the house where you say, hey world, I matter and I came here to be happy and to do something. So it is a house where you're gonna question, again, your happiness. If you feel self-actualized on earth, and if you're not, how can you transform your life? To feel co-creative, and to feel creative, to feel like a creative being, to feel self-realized, self-actualized on earth, to feel that you matter as the very egoic house, to feel that you're happy, really. Sixth house is, people say, oh, it's the house of routine and health. Yes, because it is the house that relates the body and the mind. It's like your relationship between body and mind. That is why it's routine and health. So it's like, how is this relationship between my body and mind happening? Am I happy with it? Is it working? Am I too stressed and this is taking a toll on my body? Am I having too much work with my body and too little work with my mind? Do I need to meditate? Because that can happen too. I need to find this balance. What needs to be transformed for this to work in a better alignment with who I became? with, again, to the future I want to build for me from now on. To be aligned with me spiritually, with the person that I became. 7th house is the house of partnerships. Is the house of exchanging energy with people that bring the best out of you. Is the house of is called descendant. Descendant. I didn't pronounce it correctly. The 7th house is a house of an energy that you usually lack a little bit of this kind of energy, unless you have the sun in that house. But you kind of lack a little bit of this energy in you, and you need someone else to help you bring out this energy in you. That's why it's the partnership. So if you have Aquarius in this house, you will be questioning your partnerships and transforming them, who they are, how you're dealing with the ones you already have, the quality of these partnerships, the interactions, your role in them, the role of other people in them, whatever. 8th house. 8th house is a complex house. I love the 8th house because it's a very deep house. And 8th house is the house of intimacy, emotional intimacy. That's why it's a house related to shadows as well. It's the house of death and rebirth and phoenix kind of energy, because it's a house where you see, where you mix with someone in an emotional level, and where this person's energy kind of start influencing you in an emotional level. And if you don't like that, you need to change it and alchemize that. And that kind of hurts. That's why it's death and rebirth and phoenix and all of that. Because usually when you merge with someone very deeply, emotionally, you access places of shadow as well, not only light. So a lot of this thing is gonna be questioned and transformed in you. A lot of these aspects, these emotional intimacy kind of things, like how much of other people's energies kind of interfere with my emotions and the way I feel, and how much do I let that influence me in an intimate level. How much do I let people in? All of these things. How much, and not just how much, who, and what, whatever. I just heard a weird noise, but there's only one cat here. 9th house is the house of the big questions in life. It's the house of the great philosophies. Is who am I in the big scheme of things? What is the universe? Why are we here? So everything regarding this area, it's gonna be transformed. Probably you're gonna see the world in a different way, and broaden your horizons. And again, you're gonna see yourself in this big world in a different way. Transformation. Pluto is all about transformation. 10th house is the house of vocation. A lot of people is like, oh, it's the house of profession. No, it's the house of vocation. It's like a calling that you have. It's how you project yourself onto the world. Almost like how you become. If the 9th house is who you are in the big scheme of things, but in a spiritual level, it's the 10th house is who you are in the big scheme of things, in the material level. It's like who I came to be in this world. How am I of service? Materially, what can I do materially in this world? What, again, what do I came to be? And how do I do these things? So let's say, for example, the whole doctor thing that I said for the 2nd house is like, I came here to be a doctor. I was always a doctor, but I always had a calling to be something else, or I feel like I want to expand and be a doctor someone else, or so there's going to be a transformation there's a transformation on your calling. You're going to feel like there's something else calling for you in life. And the way you show up to things, the way you present yourself and project yourself. So maybe you are someone who is shy and you're like, yeah, I have to be less shy. Or the opposite is like, oh no, I just have too many social appearances and I want to stay more at home. I want to be quieter, something like that. Oh my god, I just talked like a Californian girl, something like that. Sorry. 11th house is the house of friends and groups, and not just that, friends and groups, and where do I fit in them, and how do I interact with them, and how do I and what can I do, and what can I do, and how do I perform in these groups, and what can I offer to society. So all of this is going to be transformed. Am I hanging out with the right crowd? It is actually a house related to Aquarius. Am I hanging out with the right crowd? Am I being of service? Am I being too much of service? Could I be more of service? Should I be with different people? Whatever. What can I do to improve to improve myself as a member of society? And the 12th house. The 12th house is the house of the metaphysical and the unknown. So it is related to a spirituality, yes, but it's also related to your subconscious mind, to everything that, again, is unknown. It's outside of your body. So your relationship with spirituality, with paranormal, with the unknown, with your psyche, with your subconscious, all of this is going to be transformed. Psychic gifts, all of that, it's going to go under transformation, okay? Right. Did I say everything I wanted to say? I just hope so. God help me, because I have two videos. I have two videos to edit. They're quite long already. Let's start shuffling the cards, guys. If I forget anything, I'll just try to make it up later. I'm doing this all the time because I'm worried that my microphone runs out of battery, and I actually think that the camera is gonna run out of battery first. But whatever. This is the Power of Surrender cards, because again, like I said, we kind of have to take this leap of faith eventually. And this is a time for that, to believe in parallel timelines if you want to see something new. because Aquarius is daring as well. It's daring energy. It's Uranus. And Uranus is related in the tarot to the Fool card, which is literally the leap of faith. It doesn't care about the outcome. Okay. Surrender to receiving support and love. Allow the love and support of others in, rather than trying to handle everything yourself. This can take the pressure off and simultaneously nurture you. Which has a lot to do with the last degrees of Pluto in Capricorn. Because Pluto in Capricorn kind of had one of the ideas that it dismantled, deconstructed, was this scarcity idea that actually came out for the Portuguese video, Brazilian channel, but also this one. And I actually talked about it in one of my videos, that a man is an island. We don't need anyone. Everyone should be independent and blah blah blah. You should be able to handle everything. And I always said, like, human beings are social beings. Actually, we're one of the most social species there is. We don't survive without each other. We need love and support of each other. And Aquarius is all about that. It's fraternity. Is embracing each other. And that's why we need to develop tolerance and understand that each one is in a different it's in a different stage. And that doesn't make anyone better than the other, and that's fine. And because of that also, that doesn't allow someone else to give you support and love. And doesn't give you the right to interfere either on the other person's journey. But yeah, it's all about understanding that we're one big family that needs to help each other. Otherwise, we're not going to thrive as a society. We need to start supporting each other. And not just as human beings, but as beings on Earth. We need to support the animal realm. We need to start the plant realm, the mineral realm. We need to start living in balance. And being more tolerant and loving with one another. And this whole idea of nucleus kind of things. I even mentioned that one big problem that we have in society with this whole man is an island thing is that a big issue that we have today, and that kind of also started with the Industrial Revolution as well, is this whole thing that a family is composed by a mother, a father, and their kids, and they are supposed to raise their kids by themselves. That's why the children started being neglected. It's like, yeah, but who's going to take care of the kids? The mother and the father, they need to work. Because previously, in mankind's history, we had like this whole village, this whole tribe thing, that it's like, yeah, the mother and father would leave or do something, but there was this whole system that would take care, people would take care of one another. So with Pluto going into Aquarius, I feel and hope that we're gonna see more communal households or something like that. And maybe not communal households, but people actually doing more of communal things, like, for instance, neighbors trusting each other and taking turns to look after each other's kids, families having members helping each other more and more, and yeah, things like that. Because it is very hard. I know, because I have a sister, and she has like 2 kids. They are also my granddaughters. not granddaughters, I'm not that old, goddaughters. They're both my goddaughters. They're 6 and 3-year-old, respectively. And ever since they were born, every now and then, I have to look after them. Especially the eldest one in the beginning, I pretty much almost raised her by myself. Because my sister had to work a lot, and she had like this boss that was very annoying, and she was having problems with nannies and all of this, and by the time I was working from home, and I was working very little, thank God, and she would just drop her here. And even this day, like when she needs help and all of these things, she just drops the kids here. So we need to be more solidary with, because I see how hard working it is to take care of kids, and demanding of parents to be 100% all the time looking after their kids, after a whole day's journey, and it can be exhausting. No wonder people are depressed and burned out. They don't have any help. A lot of people don't have any family help or anyone's help. And I often say, I said it, not in this channel, I said it in my Portuguese channel once. The biggest mistake that people say is that single moms, they can handle. It's like, no, they can't. I'm sorry. The first mistake for someone to raise a child is to be a single mom. You're just demanding of a human being an enormous amount of work that she just cannot handle herself. It's inhumane, because the first thing that a woman needs when raising a baby is support. And a single mom, the first thing that she lacks is support. So she lacks the first requirement to thrive as a mother. If she's lacking the first requirement to thrive as a mother, society sold this big lie that, oh, you can do everything, you're a warrior. You're not a freaking... First of all, women were not born to be warriors. They were born to be women. And warriors don't raise children. Mothers raise children. So if a child is being raised by a warrior, that is a problem. So these mothers are exhausted because they need to be in a feminine energy of a mother and a hyper masculine energy of a protector and a provider. It is exhausted. That's why these women lose their dreams, lose their energy, lose everything. And people judge them all the time. So we need to find a way to help this, especially these women, and to stop this kind of thing from happening. Because this is the kind of thing that destroys a society. You're selling this type of lies. And this is all based in selfishness. Oh, everyone should live their own life and be happy, and everyone fend for themselves. Every man is an island. You can do everything because you're a warrior. No one is a freaking warrior. No one. There's no such thing as a warrior. Just shut up. I hate when people say you're a warrior. I do a lot of things, and when people tell me, oh my god, you're a warrior, you're a champ, I just shut them right there. I'm like, I'm not a warrior. I'm not. I hate when people tell me I'm a warrior, because I'm not. I don't like people distorting the meaning of words to try to market a stupid idea. That is very Aquarian of me. I'm like, no, 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 stop it. Stop right there. Don't manipulate things like that. That's where you start going downhill with people. Let's just stop it right there. I'm my Aquarius is in the 3rd house, and Pluto is gonna be there, so I'm gonna become the devil in the next 20 years, guys. Not the 20, because there's a part that is gonna be in the 4th house, but in the first probably 6-10 years, I'm gonna be this bitchy. So YouTube better watch me, because I'm gonna fight with tooth and nail. I'm gonna be a warrior of words, because I'm not gonna let like lies to be spread out and people to be manipulated easily like that. I'm done with that. Society has been fooled for far too long, and that got us to a point that it's unacceptable. It's like, no, it's time to awaken everyone and stop this burning car from going downhill for once and for all. We need to change. We really need to change, otherwise I don't see a future here for the next generations. And like I said, even though I don't have kids, I want Earth to keep going for the next generations, because I'm not selfish. And a lot of people who have kids don't have this mentality. They're super selfish. So yeah, this is the inner peace, the unshakable inner peace oracle, because I think we're gonna need to find inner peace that is unshakable for the next 20 years, because it's gonna be hard, guys, to keep ourselves in our core. Like I said, we're gonna have a lot of instability. Remember that I said about the whole proactiveness kind of thing? We need to be proactive and not reactive like most people. The universe rewards motion. What guided action can you take today? We are co-created beings, guys. Don't wait for things to fall on your lap and for things to happen and for change to come. The age of Aquarius, just like I said, we need to bring the change. We need to bring the change. That's why I decided to create a whole new channel in a different language. That is why I have like 3 times the amount of work. That's why I look horrible and tired. Ace of Pearls. Pearls is Pentacles. Ace of Pentacles. I'm gonna take 5 cards. This is gonna be different. We got a special card, because this tarot has special cards. Contact. 3D contact. Interdimensional beings. Light wave activation and cosmic downloads. This is so Aquarian. Please just focus. Page of Cups. I knew the Page of Cups was gonna come out. Four of Swords. Four of Swords came out, and it's coming out in every single thing, and I love it. Love the fact that it's coming out for not Cups, Swords. Four of Swords. Another special card, Blueprint, the creation of something new, never before seen, divine guidance to follow your heart. We're creating a new earth, guys. And again, not just a new earth, a new life for ourselves, because it all starts individually. And at the back of the deck, the moon. So, first of all, let's start with the back of the deck with the moon. Follow your intuition. And the moon, for me, it's not just follow your intuition. It's this whole trust the mystery. Be comfortable with darkness and mystery. Because the moon is dark and mysterious, but it's beautiful. And it reveals things little by little. You need to get your eyes accustomed to darkness, to see the beauty, of things that the moon reveals. You can only see things with the moonlight when your eyes are used to darkness. So when you integrated your shadow with your light. And the beauty is in the subtleties. You can see the subtleties. If you're not used to the darkness, first of all, you don't see things, which is the people who are not awakened. And not just that, they don't see the subtleties. So the more you listen to your intuition and you're integrated with yourself and your darkness and light are integrated, the more you can see the subtlety of things. And not just that, the moon is related to the subconscious. So be in touch with your subconscious mind. A lot of things are coming out of there. Yeah. So I'm gonna get the special cards to read for you guys as well. And then I'm gonna comment the other ones. Contact, divine communication. It's related to the soul star chakra and galactic gateway. The timing of the card is when you're ready. It's about the mantra of this card is I explore. It has a question for you to ask yourself. Am I ready to embrace my ancient connections with astral realms and being of higher consciousness? There is an evocation for you to say, I call upon my connection to ancient star beings and open portals of divine contact so I may share that ancient wisdom with the people of Earth. The light of this card, embracing the call to activate higher psychic senses, the opening of the heart and mind to receive divinely guided messages, teaching others how to activate their teaching others how to activate their divine higher senses. And the shadow is allowing rigid belief systems to hinder your spiritual evaluation, denying your divinely bestowed psychic gifts due to fear, and the refusal to share your gifts and voice with the world. It's very Aquarian, guys. You're gonna have a lot of downloads, maybe contact with higher beings, and in order to help awaken the collective. Yeah. And you have to believe in the things that are coming. It's this very Uranian energy. And blueprint. Let's go for blueprint. Just give me 1 second. Because I heard my cat I didn't say. I heard my cat on the other side of the door. I think I'm gonna have to open for him. Jesus Christ! Oh my God! Mercury is gonna go retrograde in about 10 days. I'm already whatever. Gonna be right back. She wanted to stay out. So anyway, blueprint, unique and innovative. It works on the crown chakra and third eye. Again, timing when you're ready. The creation of something new, never before seen, and following the heart. And the mantra is, I innovate. For you to reflect upon. Am I ready to debut my unique and innovative mind to the world? Oh my God, this is so Uranian and Aquarian. The evocation. I am ready to embrace the extraordinary and formulate new ideas never before seen, so that others may awaken to their own gifts and what they can offer to the world. The light. Honoring your rarity and uniqueness. Expressing your ideas of how we can collectively elevate the earth, and cultivating and mastering new creative expressions. The shadow, choosing to live by the rigid systems which control the masses, allowing others' opinions about how you should live your life overpower your own, and the refusal to share your ideas due to fear of being ridiculed or misunderstood. So yeah, guys, a lot of Aquarian energy of helping, bringing your gifts to life, receiving the downloads, and making, it's not even a Uranian and Aquarian, it's very mucky energy. It's like bringing your being conscious of who you are, and of your gifts and all of that, and bringing your A game and stepping forward into the greater scheme of things, and making yourself available. Again, taking action. Rewards, the universe rewards motion. It's like, yeah, I'm ready to do something, to make a stand, and to do what I came to do. And not by myself. I understand that a lot of people are going to contribute with that, so I'm accepting help. That's why you also got the Ace of Pentacles, the Ace of Pearls, because it's this awareness of planting a seed that is going to take roots for the new world, for this new future, and it's filled with enthusiasm and imagination, and this youthful, romanticized view of the world that, again, is filled with loving and pure intentions, because you have the Page of Cups. And this Page of Cups, I love it because it's the koi fish, and koi fish for me always resemble abundance. So it's this idea of bringing abundance to the world. In again, very pure-hearted, with a lot of good intentions. And I said I love that the Four of Swords keeps coming out, because the Four of Swords is a card of peace of mind. Peace of mind. It's, see how peaceful she looks? And it even says here, relaxation, recovery, revival. It's having the peace of mind, and not just that. The Four of Swords always remind me of peace of mind because you trust in the divine. So it's this idea that everything is going according to plan, and you did the right thing, you did the right work, and as long as you, again, walk your talk and take the little steps and blueprint, come do what you came to do, activate the blueprint of your soul, of your uniqueness, and listen to what is talking to you, whether from high above or whether from your inner self. Everything should be fine. Everything, yeah, because behind the moon in the deck there was the Ten of Swords, and the Ten of Swords is this end of suffering. See, painful ending, trauma, crisis. It's like, yeah, this end of suffering, it's no more of that. Enough. We're done. So yeah, I love this reading, guys. Yeah, thank you for being here for another, thank you for watching another video, for always being around, and for your service to Earth. And yeah, oh my god, now he wants to come in. Thank god I'm wrapping this up. See you in another video, and lots of love and light, and bye.